It does.
We're in person looking at each other.
Not through a computer screen.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this.
They finally let us out of the containment from the secret experimental bunker in which we are being researched.
They said you can do one together, but then straight back to the research lab.
Straight back.
Yep.
They said we weren't allowed to smooch either, and personally, I thought that was a bummer.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work. There are other ways to smooch.
There are?
That they didn't think of. All right. Well, I guess our cold open can be that we're in the mountains.
Yes.
We're in person for the first time ever.
We have never seen each other before.
Yeah, this is the first time that we're actually seeing each other in person.
Yes.
And it's pretty lovely up here. I would say. We went on a nice hike this morning.
We did, and my Midwestern lungs hurt because we are just a little higher above sea level than normal.
He thinks the air is too thin here.
I don't usually feel it when I go hiking, but I did on this one.
Let me look at the
I'm going to be so embarrassed if it's like 300 feet.
What is my sea level? Can it tell that just by the...
Or what is your elevation, not your sea level?
Okay. No. Well, it was my stomach.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Okay. The elevation of Whittier, North Carolina is above sea level is 1,900 feet above sea level.
That's over 1,000 feet above what I know.
And I'm going to look at your town's sea level. Or did you already say you know it?
Yeah, it's about 200 feet.
Okay.
I don't know if that's big enough difference to have an effect, or if I'm just extremely out of shape.
Yours says 330 feet, so yeah.
It depends.
See. Yeah, I'm sure. There's a decent amount of hills there. Well, it's not a decent amount. The thing is, where I currently live, there's like no hills anywhere. It's like completely flat.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah. Okay, so the town I live in is also about the same as yours.
Okay, so I'm just a weak little baby boy.
Actually, no, mine is lower, which of course
shit.
it would be lower. Mine is 30.
Listen,
because I'm at the sea, so of course it's going to be...
I said that earlier, and you were like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, I knew what you were talking about. I just didn't know if it was true. I didn't know if you knew what you were talking about.
God damn it. Hello, and thank you for joining us on Die on Any Hill. I'm your host, Anty, with my co-host, Mckay, finally in the same room.
We're here. All right, the coin flip.
Oh, yeah.
There's got to be a real coin in here somewhere.
There's one literally right here. Oh, perfect. Okay, so what is it?
So, tails, you go second. Heads, you go first.
Okay.
Wait, no, heads, I go. Wait, no. Crap. Tails.
Yeah.
Tails,
Do you
I go
remember how it
second.
goes?
Tails, I go second. Heads, you go first.
Okay, cool. Heads. Oh, darn, I go first.
Okay.
That's
all
crazy.
Right. Yeah, go on ahead.
We have such a fair coin flip.
We do. I mean, that's really the only way to do it fairly. So.
For sure. So I'm going to get a little morbid on this episode.
Okay.
But I think that every obituary... Now, this is not... I just want to say this is not for every situation. But if it is... I think there should be a level. And if the way you died is funny enough, they should print it in the obituary.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So tell me the different levels of
okay,
humor.
So, of course, someone getting murdered, someone, suicide, things like that we don't need to know.
Okay.
We gotta have some respect for the dead.
That's not that funny.
Right. Nobody's gonna ha-ha and laugh about that. And if you do, something's probably wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, but then we have the next level where it's car crashes, accidents, things like that in nature. I don't think those need to be published either.
So you've just listed probably 90% of
sure.
deaths.
And that's fine. But there should be another level where, like, say somebody slipped on a banana peel and, like, I don't know, landed on a bowling ball which rolled into a perfect strike. You know, I want to know about that. That
is true. I would want to know about that as well. I just don't know that maybe that does happen more often than we think. We just don't know because it's not written in obituaries.
Exactly, we don't know.
But I just think that 99% of deaths are probably illness or car crashes.
And that's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Like, we don't have to know about those. But if somebody, you know, runs headfirst into a Looney Tunes style painting on a cliff that looks like a tunnel,
that's true.
I want to know about that. That's extremely important.
Should there be a little database or something?
Oh yeah, 100%. Of course there would be.
The funniest deaths.
Yeah.
What was that like? Wasn't there like an MTV show or something that was? I don't think it was funniest deaths, but it was just like the craziest ways people have died.
Probably. MTV had some whack shows.
They had many whack shows.
I watched a video recently about an MTV show that the premise was take a guy whose parents didn't like his girlfriend, and they would select other girls for him to go on a date with. And then the parents and the current girlfriend of the man would have watched the videos of those dates.
I think I haven't watched whatever video you're talking about, but I've heard of that show. Yeah.
And I'm just like what was MTV doing?
MTV had some crazy stuff going on. They were kind of like the Wild West of like reality TV, I feel like.
I feel like every time I hear about an MTV show, it is something just insane like that.
Did you hear about that like Japanese TV show that there's this new documentary out on it about this guy who was locked up in a room, and he was like for a year, kind of like the Truman Show. They just had cameras in there, and he was locked up for a year, and the only probably longer than a year, I don't know, I haven't watched the documentary, but the only resources he could get were stuff that he won through magazine raffles.
That's insane.
And so he just had to sit there and scratch stuff until like he won like food, or I don't even know. I need to watch the documentary. It's crazy, but that sounds like an MTV.
Was it an actual show?
Yes, it was a real show in like the 90s in Japan.
What?
It is.
What?
And yeah, they're like just now talking about how messed up that was. But like if you look back at like the MTV shows, there's nothing that insane, but you can definitely look back and be like, this was totally unethical. How did we watch this?
Right.
And think it was just like funny. Let me look up a list of like craziest MTV.
They have some. It would not surprise me if they had one that's like funniest deaths.
They definitely had one that was like the craziest deaths, and then it would like do like just a recreation of it.
And they would actually kill somebody in the same way.
Yeah.
That was the craziest part of the show. Just the amount of murder they got away with.
This could be like a fun game to like come up with just insane premises for MTV shows and be like, what was the real one? What's the fake one?
We hold on, I'm gonna write that down.
So long forgotten that I couldn't even find a trailer on the internet. I don't even know who this person is. Apparently this was a celebrity back then. 9 bros competed to be best friends with Brody Jenner. Do you know who that is? No. Apparently he was some like hunk celebrity back then, and it was just guys trying to be friends with him.
That's the game show, is men trying to make friends.
Yeah, yep. How far is...
Make one emotional connection with another male and you win $1 million.
How... Why doesn't this give me like summaries? A bunch of kids getting summer internships at Rolling Stone. Brutal. Something here about getting like crazy tattoos, and it looks like there's a whole compilation here of people getting tattoos that are breaking up with someone else.
Oh my god.
It's like a tattoo saying you're dumped or something. Here's the date my mom won.
What? The date my mom... Okay, no. The date my mom won.
That's different. Date my mom is just what it's called.
Okay.
Apply to date my mom, where you get a chance to make out with your peers' mothers.
What?
This article is so annoying because it doesn't tell me what the show's about. It just links like a little trailer. I'm not going to watch these trailers.
Sure. What mother agreed to this?
I guess there were some moms. There are some moms out there that would do it, and MTV would find them.
Apparently. So back to the initial topic.
Yes, sorry.
Are there any deaths that you think would qualify as being funny enough to be published?
I mean, definitely the ones you've mentioned would be insane enough. And I do think most people would agree. Like, I guess it depends on who the person was. Like,
who the person who died
like, they would have to have a good sense of humor. It would just kind of be sad if it was just like a person who was sad all the time.
Yeah.
And then they did die by tripping on a banana. It's just kind of such a sad.
Okay. No, but if somebody died from tripping on a banana, like, I imagine it not where it's like the banana peel and they go whoop, like they just trip over the banana. That would be hilarious.
If it's like, I can't even think of a stereotypical sad like character. Eeyore.
If Eeyore was hit by a bus.
If Eeyore was hit by a bus, it's just sad. Hit by a bus, I don't think classifies as a funny death. By the way, I think
that's fair. I think that's funny.
You think getting slammed by a bus is funny?
Like, of all the ways to die, yes,
it is.
It's one of the funnier ones. Okay, but I just want to clarify. I did work on an ambulance for like a year.
And he laughed at everyone who came into that back of that ambulance.
You learn to laugh at things and have a very dark sense of humor. It's just part of the business.
What was the funniest...
What the hell is that thing?
What?
That black thing coming out of the wall.
Yeah, it looks like a hose or something.
Why is there a hose hookup coming out of the wall of this Airbnb?
I wouldn't think too hard on it.
I'm concerned.
I guess if people aren't leaving, they gas them out. Maybe, I don't know. You gotta pipe something in here with that.
I would want to know if somebody pulled off like the most dangerous game kind of situation. I would want to know that happened.
What is that?
That's when like a super rich guy. It's a book.
Okay. That's like where he hunts people. Yeah,
because they're the most dangerous game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be crazy. I would want to know that. Yeah, like what are we defining as a funny death? Is it just the more
Slipping on a banana peel is one.
Okay, well, not specifically, but like, what is the criteria that makes a death funny? Is it just over the top?
Not necessarily.
Because getting hit by a car isn't funny. Getting hit by a bus is funny.
Yes.
So what's the difference there?
I think it's the imagery of somebody just standing in the street and just...
And it's like the honk of the bus.
No, not even honk. Just the bus driving.
Okay. All right.
It's like that scene in Mean Girls. I think that's hilarious.
It's hilarious because you don't like Regina. If it was the main character, though, that would be kind of horrifying.
I don't like most people, and also I would laugh if it was the main character.
Here's Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, I would have. I would have absolutely laughed.
Okay. Someone who never really liked... I don't think that pain, like physical pain, is funny, necessarily. I'm not into, like, the slapstick... Like, growing up, I did not like Three Stooges. I was like, oh my gosh, this looks...
I 100% agree with that.
This just looks painful.
I think part of it is also like the irony of it. I do find funny. Ironic deaths I find funny. Like,
that's true.
Listen.
Yeah. Okay.
I do but also any death that follows like a Looney Tunes kind of thing. I want to know about that. That's funny.
That's true. There's deaths.
Oh, I remembered what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Because going back to the slapstick thing, I agree. I don't particularly like slapstick. Like, yeah. I think of things like Home Alone.
Yes. Yeah, I do not like Home Alone at all.
Thank you.
I don't, and it's not really because I don't think it's funny. I just don't like watching this kid beat up these guys.
Right.
Like, if anything, I want the robbers to get in there and take it out on that kid.
Of the kid because he's being a dick.
And it's like the same plot basically in like, I don't know, the Saw movies where it's like you can just compare it to just elaborate traps being set up. And it works, and I enjoy it in like a horror setting. But when you're suddenly supposed to laugh at it, it's like, I don't know, I just don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I have laughed at some of the Saw deaths though.
I mean, they're funny because they're so over the top, like you can laugh at them. But if Saw was trying to be funny, then I would be like, oh, this is really unpleasant now.
Sure.
I don't know. Like Quentin Tarantino, I feel like kind of rides the line of where he makes the most like gruesome, over the top. Maybe not Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez. I don't know. There's that whole little like, he's another guy who does like the Machete movies and like a kind of grindhouse style that they do a lot of homage to. That is, the deaths are so over the top that they're funny, but they're also like just kind of uncomfortable because you can tell the director is taking so much enjoyment from them. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. Let me look up the funniest real death.
The funniest 100% true death.
And we can maybe we can make a line of like, what is like a
well, that's part of the problem though, is because, like I said, working on the ambulance, you do get a black sense of comedy.
So can you tell us what was the funniest thing you saw in that ambulance? I know, like, I've heard my friends who are nurses talk a lot about people coming in with stuff up their nether regions. Like, that's a regular thing that happens.
So there are some stories I won't tell just because, like, I do want to respect the patients.
Of course,
like, yes, there are things I would say tell them to you off the air. I will not say them on the air.
Okay. That is terrible. That is very unfortunate.
And I laughed then too.
Yeah, that is funny.
Oh no!
Yeah, that is funny. I would laugh at that.
The guy was having a shit time, and I feel bad for him, but that was funny.
Okay, so here's all these deaths are like over 100 years old.
Sure. Then we are for sure allowed to laugh at
We're
them.
For sure. What's the line of like something?
I think 100 years is a good line.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
Although it sounds like you'll laugh at a death that literally happened the previous day.
I would. Yes.
Okay. This one guy died because he ate a feast of caviar, lavish amounts of seafood and sauerkraut, and a mind-boggling 14 servings of semla, a bun soaked in warm milk. And he just died from that single excessive meal.
I respect that.
Astronomer Tycho Brahe had an extraordinary life. Working without a telescope, he established the positions of stars and worked out the true nature of comets, and he also had a tame elk and a fake nose that he lost in a duel.
That's kind of hardcore.
His death, however, was a credit to his noble upbringing. Braun died after a banquet. It had previously been assumed he was poisoned, but an analysis of his remains in 2010 found no remnants, indicating that the other suggestion was true. He'd held his bladder till it burst.
Oh my god.
Because he refused to leave the table as it was impolite. And 11 days later, he died.
That's insane.
That is crazy.
You ever have to piss so bad you die?
There's no... No. I mean, I guess, like, that's crazy to think that you couldn't just get up and go to the bathroom. Like, I guess that was just...
It's not polite.
Frowned upon back then.
I want nobody to ever use the bathroom.
This guy won himself a place in history books when he accidentally shot himself in court. The cause was an attempt to prove a point. He was defending a murder suspect and wished to point out that the victim could have shot himself accidentally. To demonstrate, he fired the murder weapon and accidentally shot himself fatally in the bladder.
You mean they left the weapon loaded in the courtroom?
Yeah.
Okay, that's on them. That's on all of them at that point. Like, seriously?
This one guy, his beard caught on fire and he died. Death by alarm clock. A lamplighter in the 1880s concocted his own waking up system involving a clock, a wire, and a 10-pound stone.
Oh my god!
The problem, he had a party and moved his bed, then got drunk and put it back in the wrong place. The next morning, his head was crushed by the stone falling down on him. I guess something caused the stone to fall on the ground, and that made a noise that woke him up. But he accidentally.
That's wild.
I don't know how you... Like, I would always know in my head, okay, this is the area that the stone comes crashing down in the morning.
Right.
Don't even sleep anywhere near this corner of the room.
But maybe that's how he was... that's how he was waking himself up, by dropping the stone on his head.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. And he got a little too... he overestimated the amount of the strength of his head.
Hey, can you stop kicking the cord like that?
Thank
you.
Sorry. So sorry.
Any other good ones sticking out?
We don't know exactly when the president of France died, but it was during an encounter best described as Clinton-esque and paved the way for political sex scandals for centuries to come. He died while having some kind of intercourse with a young woman in his presidential office. The ridiculous situation was only heightened by the fact that the act in question was possibly oral. And that's the end of it.
Nice.
So I guess he just had... It doesn't even say how he died, but I guess just it was a heart attack or something.
Head so good you die.
Okay, if you die having sex, that's got to be like a fun...
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Like that's pretty embarrassing and probably traumatic for the partner, but I feel like that's got to be something that's in the obituary.
We gotta know.
Yeah.
As the people, we have a right to know.
Yes. A French composer who worked for King Louis XIV killed himself by hitting himself in the foot with his conducting staff during a performance. When this took place, conductors didn't use tiny batons, but huge, heavy staffs to keep time in the concert, and the blow's wound developed gangrene, and he refused to have his leg amputated so that he could remain a dancer, and he died in agony.
Nice. Good for him.
All right.
I do respect, like, somebody dying just because they're stubborn.
Yeah. Here's some extremely rare ways people have died.
Ooh.
In 1988, a dog fell from a building in Argentina and landed on a woman's head, killing her and the dog instantly.
Oh, poor puppy.
Then another lady, completely confused, watching the event unfolding, ran into the middle of the road and was run over by a bus. Then shortly after that,
we got one.
An older man died from a heart attack while watching all this happen. So 3 people died plus the dog. Just from this one scenario of a dog.
No, it didn't. Isn't that 4? No, yeah, because it was the woman who got...
The woman the dog fell on, the woman who ran out into the street, and the guy watching. And then the dog.
That's kind of impressive.
A sinkhole formed under some man's bedroom and took him with it. It was so deep they never found him.
Damn.
Oh my gosh. This guy died because he was trying to hold in a sneeze, and then he had an aneurysm in his brain that popped at that moment.
I think I've heard that can happen.
Yeah. So there you go. Never hold in your pee. Never hold in a sneeze. Don't hold anything in.
Don't hold anything in. Let it
you
all
will,
out.
Something inside your body will burst.
It will. You hold it in for even a moment.
A guy got caught in a box canyon during a flash flood in the desert. The water was quickly reabsorbed into the dry desert soil and left a drowned man in the middle of the desert. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, damn. That's pretty... I want to know that, too, because that's all kind of sick.
That's kind of
cool. If it's funny enough or if it's cool enough.
Yeah.
I want to know.
If you drown in the desert.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
I want to know why.
Okay, we're about at the end of these.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, yes, some of these aren't necessarily funny. Some guy died from a beaver bite.
Sure.
Which severed an artery.
I mean, yeah, okay.
I like how you're like, sure, yeah.
That makes sense.
Some rich lady in the early days of automobiles was known for always wearing long scarves, and then one day it caught in the wheels and snapped her neck.
Oh my god!
Yeah. This I've heard this one. A woman named Jennifer Strange died of water intoxication while trying to win a Wii on a radio show contest. Hold your wee for a wee, where you had to drink as much water as possible without going to the bathroom. She drank 2 gallons of water and ended up dying. So, once again...
Did she win the wee?
She was dead.
Yeah, but did she still
you
win
think
it?
They just placed the wee on top of her body?
Yeah, and bury her with it.
I hope so. I mean, what do? You don't just give it to the second place person. Right. You have to give it to her. So, yeah, I think it needs to be buried with her.
Perfectly reasonable.
That would just be disrespectful if you gave it to the second place person. Every year, a small handful of people still have polio on their death certificates.
Really?
Post-polio syndrome can develop decades after a person is first exposed to polio, occasionally severe enough to kill someone. So here sounds like one that's up your alley. A guy carrying his plate back to the kitchen slipped, fell, and cut his own throat with a broken plate shard, and then bled out before services were able to get there.
Dang.
Oh, gosh. And lastly, this woman was getting a drink and had a metal straw in her cup. She slipped, and the metal straw punctured through her eye and went to her brain. Yeah, that's bad.
I also want to know about that one, though.
Yeah. I think it's just like, if you died in a bizarre way.
I want to know.
Yeah. I think we shouldn't have to assume that someone, like, if there's nothing there, we shouldn't just assume that, it's a car crash or
right.
Like we shouldn't have to make assumptions on how people died. Is basically
we shouldn't have to make assumptions.
We shouldn't have to. We should. Yeah, it should tell us. I agree. I'm kind of on your. I'm on yours. I'm on your side.
I think this is the first episode where I have gotten you to come around to my side.
It doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to go through the details unless it's a crazy, elaborate, Final Destination death. This
makes me so happy.
I agree.
All it took was for us to be in person.
I guess so. That's why it will never happen again.
God damn it.
Okay, moving on to mine. Sticking with our... unless you had something else to say. Okay. Sticking with our morbid topic of death, I think that we need to have some more options when it comes to memorializing someone. So I think when you go on like a funeral website, there should be a little drop-down menu. And right now, it's currently just like either you're buried in the cemetery, which is extremely expensive. There's very limited space, I think, for a cemetery.
Right.
Like there's only so much room that people... Like, think about how many people there are right now. If every single one of those was died.
You ever thought about how many people there are?
There's a lot of people in the world. And if every single one of them is taken up I don't even know how much space a grave takes up. But
I don't know.
I guess as big as the person was. But
aren't they buried, like, vertically, though?
I don't think so. I mean, they don't look like they are in the movies.
Oh, that's fair.
But that would make sense. Like, I think they're just... You've seen, like, grave sites that are just like open and they lower the coffin there.
That's true. I did bury my grandmother.
Okay, yeah.
that is true. Yeah.
I just moved the mic around and all, so I don't know if it picked up anything.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, vertical though is an interesting. That's a good way to save space. Okay, so there's that or the option of cremation. Those are like the two current options. We need to have some more cooler stuff.
Okay.
You've mentioned the funeral pyre.
Yeah.
I think that's a great option.
There's like one place in Colorado that does it.
So that's basically already just cremation. Like you're still gonna, the family can get the ashes, but
I think a pyre is different. Like because truly, how I actually want to be, I want a pyre when I die. I want my body to be burned out in the woods, and then the ashes left to be blown about by the wind. You can do that. It's like I said, it's like one place in Colorado you can do that at least in the U.S.
You can. I do. Yeah, I like that. I think that we need to have more like. I think plants need to be grown out of people. I think that needs to be a thing. Is like there's a little like garden box that you put the cremated ashes in, and then the flowers grow out of it.
I mean,
that's kind of cool.
There is the thing where like they grow a tree out of your body.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like I think they put like your body in some kind of pod thing, and it grows a tree. And the tree uses your nutrients.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that.
I do like the idea of just like putting a bunch of dirt around on top of a body. Like just barely a layer of dirt, and then boxing it in so you have a garden.
Yeah. That's kind of disturbing to think about. Like they didn't do anything to break it down. It's just in there, just with a thin layer of dirt on it. That's
yeah, exactly.
Kind of creepy.
If you dig too deep, you can still see the eyes.
Yikes. Okay, so what are some other options we can think of?
I want to be shot into the sun.
Shot into the sun.
Yep,
is kind of crazy. I think that could be like for rich people. That's probably not too far from the realm of possibility. Like Elon Musk is shooting up what car did he shoot up into
the
space?
Tesla?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like Elon Musk would do that, and then probably any other like billionaire could be like, fair. Yeah, just shoot me into space. But eventually, like whenever space becomes more popular, which one of these days supposedly it will.
I don't think we'll ever see it, but that's fine.
Like that's probably what's going to happen. Like,
for sure.
But also, I don't know if that's a good thing because the body will never decompose. Like it's just going to be perfectly
in the sun.
Oh, if it's shot into the sun, yes, okay. But if you're just dropping it off in space like the Tesla, then it's just going to be floating there like. And nothing's gonna happen.
I really like to imagine that they just sent the Tesla out into deep space.
Is that not what they did?
I don't think so.
It's in orbit, I guess. Of the Earth.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in orbit. But I really like the idea of them just kind of slingshotting it out in the deep space.
Yeah.
And then, like an alien spaceship, just seeing a Tesla flying by.
That seems a little irresponsible, but
it's Elon Musk.
It's Elon Musk, so. That would be crazy if there was like an orbiting ring of bodies that they shot up into the Earth.
That would be wild.
And then you just got a place in the orbit, like the ring. Yeah. It's like a ring like Saturn has, but it's just
bodies.
It's just bodies. It's so morbid.
Do you think every once in a while an asteroid would come out and like hit one of the bodies and come plummeting back to Earth?
That would be wild if the bodies came back. I feel like the bodies would vaporize before they got back to Earth. And then we're back
Get your science out of here. I don't care. We're talking about a ring of bodies around the Earth.
And then we're back to cremation.
Yeah.
There's got to be like more cool places to put bodies than just like a field.
I mean, I've heard of. I don't remember what it's called. I mentioned it earlier. The Himalayan mummification kind of thing.
Okay.
Where basically your body is put up in the Himalayas to freeze.
That's cool.
And
I like that.
Mummify basically.
And then do they take it? They don't take it by town. They just leave it.
No, you're
there.
just kind of left there.
Okay.
I think I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
That's kind of cool. I mean, is that like the catacombs where it's just like tons of skulls down there? Is that basically what? Is it just a pile of bodies in the Himalayas? Or?
Yes, I don't know.
Okay.
This might be complete and utter bullshit.
Mummification should be a thing that comes back.
Yeah, we need more mummies to eat.
To eat?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, the reason we don't have a lot of mummies is because Victorian England ate them.
Okay, I have actually heard that before. It was like, what was the thing? It was like rich people thought that it was going to make them live longer or something?
Something like that.
That's insane.
That sounds about right. Gwyneth Paltrow was like, hey, eat this mummy dust.
Gwyneth Paltrow ate mummy dust?
Would you be surprised?
Okay. Another thing we're going to just Google really quickly.
What, Gwyneth Paltrow?
Just people eating mummy dust.
Oh, yeah.
Royalty believed that ingesting powdered mummy could cure various ailments. This practice, driven by a misunderstanding of ancient Egyptian practices and the properties of bitumen, a natural asphalt-like substance, led to the widespread consumption of ground-up mummies, sometimes even forged ones. Forged mummies? So
what?
Like fake mummies? Like these people got scammed out of a real mummy?
Hey, yo, you want some mummy dust? They sell you a bag of oregano.
That sounds kind of good.
What, to snort oregano?
I don't think they snorted it.
I'm assuming they snorted it. What else would you do with mummy dust?
You would eat it. You don't
snort
it.
No. Dusts get snorted.
When did snorting become like a regular thing? Like obviously when like I don't think people were even aware of the concept of snorting. Was there snorting before like when was cocaine invented?
80s?
Was there like
I'm sure cocaine was around before the 80s. I mean,
did people snort before cocaine?
I feel like they may have snorted opium. Well, I mean, snuff. Snuff was a thing. Snuff is it's a form of tobacco that you snort.
And how did people even like snorting? Seems like the worst possible way to ingest something. Like who even came up with the idea of let me just put this in a line and huff it up my nose? Like that sounds so unpleasant. Why would you not just?
I mean, I imagine it was some like medicine person in the ancient times.
Yeah, probably.
Who was like, okay, because like they would grind things up and things like that, and they would do natural medicines.
Yeah,
but I can see a lot of them having to be like, I don't know what this is going to do, but I'm going to try it.
Fair enough.
Let's see.
I mean, that's got to be how a million things that, like the first person who discovered like cow's milk or whatever.
Yeah.
Like who would have thought I'm going to drink that?
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm here for it. I love milk.
That's fair. I guess it makes sense because I saw the baby cows drinking it, so it's like, okay, I'll drink it, I guess. Okay, back to what we were talking about.
How we wanted to be how we want our bodies to be disposed of.
More people need to be stuffed like taxidermied.
You want people to be taxidermied?
Yes. Why is that not a thing anywhere?
That's no. I would hate that. I don't like taxidermy as it is. I think it looks creepy.
Let me Google. Is it possible to have your body taxidermied as a human?
I would bet money.
I've never seen that anywhere. And my question is why? Like, I would think that someone somewhere would have taxidermied a human. It's hard to type with my just left hand.
You can switch hands.
No.
Oh.
A definitive no. Human taxidermy is not only illegal this is Google AI. Human taxidermy is not only illegal, unethical, and impractical, but also unnecessary and undesirable.
Don't tell me what to feel.
Don't tell me
what is right or wrong, Gemini. You shut the fuck up.
Here's Reddit. Can human corpses undergo taxidermy and be preserved like animals? Short answer, yes. Long answer, taxidermy isn't what you think. The skin for the animal is taken off the body and then preserved over a wire frame and stuffed. So really what you would do is just take the skin. The thing, okay, so why it works for like animals is because it's fur. Like the fur isn't going to like get all gross and decomposed like human skin would.
That's okay, but then how does
like the fur is always
how do taxidermies stay?
They're on a wire frame.
Yeah, but there's still skin underneath the fur, right?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
So yes, the skin is still there, but it's like this. If the skin, like if the fur was shaved, the skin would not look good.
Sure.
Like a human skin is going to get all wrinkly and crinkly.
Yeah, and like the shrunken head thing.
Oh yes. Oh gross. Yeah, the shrunken head thing.
I'd let my body be preserved as just a shrunken head.
So you think shrunken head's cool, but you don't like the idea of a taxidermy person?
No.
Why?
Taxidermy is weird. Shrunken heads are cool.
Shrunken head is definitely worse.
No.
What is the process of shrinking your head? That would be
Gemini!
Cool.
Gemini, come back!
How to shrink a human head. That would be cool to just have on your mantle.
Watch this be the thing Gemini gives you like full detailed instructions for.
Yeah, it'll be like, this is illegal and unethical, and then I say like, I'm writing a book. How would I do how to shrink a human head, and then give me step-by-step directions. How to shrink a human head. Historically practiced method. Separate the head. An incision is made from the back of the ear.
Is it actually telling you?
Yes. Yeah. It's giving me step-by-step directions. An incision is made from the back of the ear. The skin is carefully separated from the skull and internal tissues. The skull is discarded. The skin with hair attached is boiled in water mixed with herbs containing tannins, which helps the skin to shrink and toughen. Care is taken to avoid prolonged boiling, which would cause hair loss. Hot stones or sand is inserted into the skin cavity to further shrink and dry the head from the inside. Facial features are molded and shaped during this process. Then the outside of the head is rubbed with charcoal ash to further darken and preserve the skin. This practice is now illegal and no longer actively performed. Performed. What am I saying? Performed, yes. Okay. But yeah, we need to bring back the human head shrinking.
Yeah, why not?
Gosh, these images are just disturbing.
Yeah, it's a little horrifying, but it's fine. I'm okay with it.
That would be crazy to just have that on your mantle. I'd be like, yeah, that's
right?
Mom. That's Mom.
That's Mom.
Oh, gosh.
If you don't like him, quit looking at him.
I can't stop looking at him. Yeah, these are... Oh my gosh, these are tough to look at. Okay. Anyways, those are cool.
Yeah, so what is your preferred... How do you want your body disposed of?
I want it to always be... What was that thing they did with... Was it like the Pope or some like royalty, and they kept his body like viewable in a memorial for like years? I don't remember what I'm...
Gemini, come back, Gemini. We need your services once again.
Who was the politician whose body was preserved for like... I don't know if it was months or years, but they was preserved for a long time, and people could come. I think it was a Pope.
Sure.
And so it was like, so people could come and say like goodbye to the Pope.
Is Gemini actually the name of Google's AI?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I don't want the robot overlords to be mad at me.
How do we feel about like preserving your brain to potentially be used in the future?
Used how?
Like they supposedly can bring you back as like a computer program or whatever.
I'd do that. That'd be sick.
I wouldn't do that because I would... Well, one is wouldn't be actually be me. Like, I'm still gone. I don't want some weird like shell of me out there for... I don't think... My thing is I wouldn't actually trust that they would bring it back in like a real format. I think they would probably just download my brain and then use it as data for advertisements or something.
Probably.
Be like, okay, this guy in this demographic likes this thing. We're just gonna... I don't know.
Would you, if, like, I've seen some science fiction media where it's like, they make clones and you transport your consciousness from your body to your clone. Would you do that?
Like, if is it my consciousness or just a copy? It's not a copy of my consciousness. It's my actual consciousness.
Debatable. You don't know for sure.
You don't know for sure.
It's like the teleportation problem.
Yeah. You don't know if it's
like you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that what it was? And sorry to spoil the movie if you haven't seen it. The Prestige. Have you seen that?
Yes. Yeah.
And then it was like he wasn't... Every time he was teleporting, he was like dying, right?
Sure. Well, so I think they talk about it, I think, in Star Trek, where it's... So the process is... In most sci-fi, it's like your atoms get destroyed and then remade like your atoms get destroyed on point A and then remade at point B. Are you still you?
That's kind of terrifying. I mean, if it's destroyed, then no.
Sure.
Like my conscious self is not. That's a different version. That's a different copy of me.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. Like, I guess for the rest of the world, I'm still there. But for me, myself, I no longer exist, and now a copy of me is there. That's probably the exact same thing, but my brain is not carrying over to that.
Sure.
So no, I wouldn't do that. No.
You wouldn't teleport, or
I would not.
You would not put your consciousness into a clone body.
I would not teleport. I would not put my consciousness in a clone body. No, because I don't. It would have to be me. I don't want any copies of myself running around. I only want me.
There's a show out, and it's about like somebody dies and they put their consciousness in like a computer program.
Are you talking about Black Mirror?
No.
Okay.
It's like is it Black Mirror?
I mean, Black Mirror has a ton of premises like that. Like all the episodes are different.
Yeah.
Sci-fi stories. So yeah, they're.
I don't know. It has
ones like that.
I don't know the actor's name.
Okay.
But they're like I think it's a comedy, and they're like in a computer program that's like a resort kind of thing.
Oh, I think I know what you're
talking
called? About.
It's like Uploaded or some stupid.
Yeah,
thing like that.
Yeah. That came out a little while ago, I think.
Oh, okay.
But I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
But yeah, would you do that?
Would I upload my consciousness?
Yeah, so like
theoretically, it's the same.
Theoretically, it's the same consciousness.
If it's the same consciousness, then yes, I would do that.
How sure do you have to be that it's the same consciousness?
I mean, I would have to be like. I mean, they're not going to advertise it as we don't really know if it's the same consciousness. Right. They're going to tell me like,
yes,
we're 95% sure that your consciousness is going to be the same.
No, they won't say it like that. We'll say your consciousness will be the same. Now, the occasional person does experience some side effects of the process.
Yeah, like if they tried to tell me that it would be the same, I would probably do it. I guess. It's just I don't want a copy of myself running around.
So yeah, how sure do you have to be? Is it just the word of some corporate overlord that you would do it?
Like if it was a brand new thing that was coming out, probably no.
Sure.
I would not be a guinea pig. But if it was something that had been around for years and people were like comfortable doing it, I would like other people were comfortable, not just like the corporation telling us.
Sure.
If it was a popular thing, I mean, yeah, I would do it, I guess.
Fair enough.
I 90% sure is if you want a percentage number.
Sure.
I have to be 90% sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fair. Anyways, we are at 50 minutes. If you enjoyed this content, hey, do the things. What is it?
You have to.
Subscribe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Rate us. That's the one. Rate us.
Rate us.
Give us a rating.
Yep.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Anything else to add?
That should be it.
Cool.
Nice.
We will never see each other again.
Good seeing you.